We got a little bit of a project today because the bottom of our bucket here is wearing out where we got holes to the bottom. So when we want to pick up fine things with the bucket, it just falls right through the hole. So we're going to cut some pieces to put in here, and then we're going to clean this up with the grinder, and then we'll weld the pieces in. So I got the two pieces we're going to use cut out, and they're going to kind of sit in the bucket like that. And like this, and then for the corners we'll probably put a piece up here in this little chunk here, and then the same over here we'll put a little bit on the top too. I used a wire wheeled grinder to clean up all the metal. I am going to weld because when I was first taught how to weld, I was told that crappy preparation equals crappy welds. I'm paraphrasing to make it YouTube approved, but you get the point. Everything cleaned up how I want to. What Dad and I agreed on is I'll end up cutting a little chunk of metal out for this little bit here, but I'm gonna get these two pieces welded in first, then we can worry about putting that in there next. Got everything done, got the welder back packed up over there, and didn't have the greatest welds because of how much gaps there were in some spots, but this is good. It's good enough for a feed bucket, for the fact that it's going to get covered up as soon as we use it the first time, so be all right. We got another shop project we're going to work on today. So this is one of our pumps that we use in the pit, and we're going to have to work on rebuilding a little bit because we've used it for the last 8-9 years straight, and so now it needs a little work. And we're going to start by replacing some of the pieces along here. So we're going to replace from here to here. So we'll have to take all these bolts out, and then we'll go from here all the way down to the other flange down there. I'll show you quick. We're gonna replace all the way down to here, so we'll have pipe. We have the black piping that's over there. That's what we're gonna use to replace this. And then Dad started working on patching up holes down here, patch that all up. So we're gonna have to do that. And then we have a few holes in here that he already filled up too, right there. And then we're also going to have to work on re-welding this together. We're going to have to put this angle iron, we're going to put that along here to help give us some stability. Otherwise, it really sags down, because if that wasn't holding up, it'd be like bent down in here just because of how old it is and how much it's been used. And then we'll have to redo this a little bit because it's not supposed to be all rusted out like that. So, should be fun. So I gotta knock this bolt out and then knock this bolt out by hitting it like this with a hammer. We'll do that, and then I'm gonna back my scooter. I'm gonna use the scooter because I was told I should put that in a YouTube video by someone. And then once I get that backed up to I'll back it up here so I can catch this piece, because this is what's gonna come off. That way, once it's in place, I can I'm gonna cut this with the grinder so I don't have any big pieces of hot metal landing on my scooter. We'll cut this off, and then we'll see how easily this comes apart. I might have to pry this apart. I'm not sure how much suction is going to be right here. So I got the cherry picker hooked up to that end of the pipe that we're gonna be cut apart, and we got a jack here to hopefully catch this part, because I'm gonna cut these bolts all off so that this way all this right here will be free, because this is the pipe that we're gonna replace because it's got holes like this in here. So replace that, and then we're gonna, after I get that piece all off, then we'll work on getting this piece pulled apart. So now we're gonna start working on maybe welding some pieces on to where my dad started welding on the end of the pipe. So I'm gonna cut this right here with the grinder, and then I kind of got this bent how it kind of is for welding on there. So once I get it cut, I can bend it a little bit more, and then we'll probably cut it into smaller chunks like this, so that way I got a few chunks so I don't have to have the whole thing bent. Got both my patches. I got one here, and then there's one where I just finished on the other side of this where Dad was. I finished both those up, and now we got our bandsaw just about maxed up on the size it can do, but we're gonna start cutting the pipe right here to replace what we got hanging right here. We're gonna cut this, it's the same length, so that way we can replace this. Then we'll weld these back on, so that way it can be bolted back on to where it needs to be. Looks like Roscoe's sunbathing over there. Oh, heard his name now. You're fine, go back to sunbathing. You look like you're enjoying yourself. I had to go clean a barn out, but while I was gone, Dad put these angle irons, welded these on here, so now this whole frame right here is good to go, and we don't really need the jack stand, but we need to keep it there so that way the whole thing doesn't tip like this. But otherwise, after that, we bolted this stuff on here so that way we got a little bit closer. So that's probably all we're gonna do on this piece for today. So we'll probably get a part 2 of this out at some point once we get back to working on this again.